Hey friends, in today's video we are creating this look. I'm using products from my favorites video, products that I cannot put down, products that are so high performing, and this has actually kind of been my go-to like glam look lately. I love it. I think it's so beautiful. It's glam but not overly glam. It's clean and polished. It's perfect for day or night. We're also going to just chat and just have a fun chatty get ready with me. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so to start I'm going to prep the skin for makeup and add just a little more hydration to the skin. I'm going to be using the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I love this product. It's a really great hydrating makeup primer. You can use it as your moisturizer, but it also has priming benefits. It really creates a really nice, smooth, even canvas for the skin. And I notice when I wear this, not only does my makeup just look more smooth, but it actually lasts all day. I think it's a really great hydrating primer if you need one. And I love this way it smells. It smells like citrus. I really work it into the skin though, just making sure that I have a nice thin layer on the skin so that when I go to apply foundation, we don't have any issues with like pilling or having my foundation kind of ball up. Oh, perfect. I'm just going to press it into the skin to just accelerate that process and that skin absorption. Next, we're going to go in with the L'Oreal Skin Ink Foundation. I'm the shade 130. I have been wearing this foundation so much this summer. It is such a great go-to for the summer because it's very lightweight, so it doesn't feel like you have a lot of product on the skin. It gives really great coverage and it does truly last all day. It is one of the most long-wearing foundations. This foundation and the Jane Iredale Pure Pressed Mineral Powder Foundation are kind of been my go-tos this summer just because they're so great for the heat because they're, lightweight, they don't feel heavy on the skin. Very different foundations, right? The Jane Iredale's powder, it has an SPF of 20 in it. This is a liquid, but it's very lightweight. If I'm going to wear a liquid foundation, it's going to be this one. And I'm using the BK Beauty 115 brush to blend this in. The 115 brush is great when you are trying to get the maximum coverage out of a product. It's a very dense foundation brush, so it really is designed to just build coverage. And I did a thin layer. I could probably go back and add a little more. I did not use my Elastin tinted SPF that I normally use. The SPF I used today was just a clear SPF. I'm not starting with a little bit of coverage like I typically do. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and apply this on the rest of the face and then I'll go back and add coverage if I need to. And I've mentioned this before, but with this foundation, it's really important to work in sections because it dries quickly. So you just kind of want to apply it in one area of the face, blend that out, and then go and apply other areas. Okay, so while this is blending out, I want to share a fun little story. So today, the day that I'm filming this is Tuesday, August 12th. And today we get to announce that BK Beauty made the Inc. 5000 list for the third year in a row, which is such a huge deal to me. I've got a fun story to share behind it too, but the Inc. 5000 list is a list of like America's fastest growing privately held companies. Well, at least all the ones that apply to be on the list, right? So you submit basically your revenue for the last 3 years and it's based on percentage of growth. So to get on the list is incredibly hard, but to actually stay on the list is really the challenge because to continue to have that type of fast growth year after year is pretty incredible and I'm so proud of it. It's a big challenge. And anyway, we found out a couple months ago, but we're actually able to announce it today. So super excited. But the fun story I wanted to share about the Inc. 5000 is in 2017, so this was before I had even had a thought about BK Beauty. BK Beauty was a couple years ahead of me at that time. I was actually working at a sales job and I was obviously doing YouTube at the time, but up to that point, YouTube had always really been more of like a hobby for me. It wasn't really anything that was generating any sort of income. I was working outside of the house, but I really loved it. It was my outlet. And I knew that I could turn it into more because I was just starting to monetize things and I was obviously seeing other people do it. And I knew that if I wanted to take it to the next level and work on it full time, I could, but it was also scary because, we needed my income and it was just like, it was a scary leap of faith to take. But Paul was working for a company and the company that he was working at had hit the Inc. 5000 list and they invited me as Paul's wife to attend the conference with him. And the conference is really, really such a special event. It's a couple of days and they have the most amazing speakers come and talk about business, entrepreneurship, and just kind of like overall leadership. And so I sat in a talk with Brene Brown. She was the keynote speaker that year. So Brene Brown, I think we all know who Brene Brown is. And I was sitting there with my notes. Remember, I was working outside of the house, but I was doing YouTube part-time. And she was telling this story about just kind of her own life and just managing it all as a mother, as a writer, as a professor, as a researcher, as all the things and all the hats that she wore. And, I could relate to that story so much because I myself felt it. I felt like, you know, here I was working, you know, a part-time job outside of the house. I had young kids at the time. I was managing that. I was also doing YouTube. And, you know, even though it was a hobby, I was spending enough time on it for it to be like another part-time business. And I just kind of felt like I was drowning at the time. And anyway, I was so impacted by her talk that I actually looked over to Paul. Actually, Paul looked over to me first. We kind of looked at each other at the same time, but he said it first. He said, you need to quit your job and you need to do YouTube full time. And I'm going to get emotional just remembering that moment. But I looked at him, I'm like, you're right, I do. And, you know, Paul's always been incredibly supportive. My whole, like since the day I met him, the first day I met him, oh my God, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole telling the story. But the day that I met Paul when I was 19 years old, you know, I just started working at MAC and I was so excited about this new career I had as a makeup artist. And he actually like, you need to have a website. You need to do weddings on the weekends. I'm going to build a website for you. And he actually built me a website. And this was like before everyone had websites. It was like back then you had to have a lot of money to build a website. It was not something that you could easily spin up like it is today. Anyway, I'm telling you all that because he's always been my biggest fan and biggest support system. And I don't know why, but when he looked at me and told me, you need to quit your job, it was almost like, I felt like, okay, I need to do this. Like, even though I knew I would always have a support if I wanted to do that, it just felt like I just had more confidence making that decision. So actually I went back to work the next week and I put my notice in and I quit my job and I started pursuing YouTube full time. And so anyway, I'm telling you that story because it was actually at the Inc. 5000 conference back in 2017 that gave me the confidence and courage and inspiration to decide to like bet on myself and pursue my dream, which then I would later realize a few years later that would launch BK Beauty and that would kind of, you know, take me to where I am today. And I just feel like I'm truly living a dream. Like I wake up every day and I'm like, how do I just get to do this for work? Like, how did I create this career for myself that is what it is? Because it feels like a dream. It feels too good to be true in so many ways. And anyway, so the fact that BK Beauty now is on that list, the Inc. 5000 list, the company and brand that we started together is now a recipient of this award. It's just wild to me. It's just like so full circle moment. So we ranked number 484 on this year's list, which is so huge. So we were in the top 10% of the 5,000 businesses. And it's just wild. It's just so crazy. And it's something I'm so proud of. So I just wanted to share that news with you guys. By the time this goes up, you will probably already know that because we're going to share it on Instagram today. And yeah, but it's a one that I'm really, really proud of. So, and of course, you know, I cannot like talk about these accomplishments without thanking you guys for making them possible, because the truth is that it's because of you that I get to do this every day. And so I'm always grateful. And I hope that you guys feel that and know that. Okay, let's get back to makeup. So I just applied the L'Oreal. I feel like it's pretty light. I feel like I could add a little more, but let me go in and add some concealer first, just to see if what I'm seeing is just really needing a little concealer underneath the eyes. So this is the Enlighten Plus concealer. I talked about this in my favorites video, and this is such a great concealer, you guys. This was one that I've used and loved for a long time, but you know, the nature of what I do, I use products and then I forget about them because I'm trying all this new product and trying all the new releases. And then occasionally I rediscover them and I'm reminded of why I love these so much. This is one of those products. So this concealer is very creamy, very hydrating. It has this cool tip applicator you can see. It feels really nice to apply it. Like it's actually cold, even though, you know, I'm just left out here at room temperature. It's not like I keep in the fridge. And I'm not applying more product right now. Like you see me kind of massaging the eye. I'm not actually squeezing out more product. I'm just kind of spreading what I've already applied to go all underneath the eye. I wear this shade number 1 and I love this color because it's a good color correcting concealer, meaning it has a pretty strong peach undertone, so it really neutralizes darkness underneath the eye, but also conceals too. It's not too orangey. It's like that good balance of a concealer color with some warm peach tones to it. So it's just the perfect color in my opinion. I'm gonna go in and blend this out with the BK Beauty N14, and I'm just gonna tap it to blend it out. Super hydrating, but it doesn't crease or move around throughout the day. It's very long wearing. It also has an SPF of 30, which is amazing. I love that. Anytime you can get additional SPF benefits from your makeup products just to layer on top of what you're already applying, that's a good thing. The coverage is so full, but it doesn't look heavy. It does not look cakey. Again, it's also hydrating. I know I keep saying that, but it's so important to find a hydrating concealer, especially as we get a little older. I say this all the time, but if you're new to my channel, the skin underneath our eyes is the thinnest skin on our face. It's also the place that we show the most texture and signs of just, you know, expression lines, wrinkles, fine lines. They're all underneath the eye because we smile. We have a lot of expressive faces that we make. And when the skin is thin and it's drier there, those lines are more obvious. So when you're using makeup like concealer, you want to make sure that you're not using products that are too heavy because that can magnify that texture and make it look worse than it actually is. So I'm just blending this out, tapping, tapping, tapping. Okay, so once I have it blended out pretty well, I'm gonna take my brush, I'm gonna dry clean it. I like to dry clean my brush, which is basically just swirling it around on a dry tissue or paper towel to remove any excess product and kind of refluff the brush. When a brush gets really loaded or packed with like concealer, cream, or liquid products, it's not as fluffy anymore. So you want to make sure that you really, one, clean your brushes often to remove that, but in between uses, just kind of remove the excess on a paper towel and it'll refluff it. And then I'm just going to tap it underneath there one more time. Okay, lovely. Oh, I love the coverage that we have. I'm feeling a lot better about everything now. Let me see. Do we need more foundation coverage? I feel like I could use a little more. It feels a little pink and red there. So I'm going to take my foundation, where'd you go? And we're going to add a tiny bit more just in that little area. Perfect. So lightweight, you guys. I cannot stop raving about this foundation. It truly is so, so good. I think it's great for all skin types, unless you don't like a matte finish. If you don't like a matte finish, you know, you're probably not going to love this because it definitely is more on the matte side. But in terms of performance, it's so good. It is so, so good. And the skin just looks so smooth and flawless, and it lasts all day. It looks so good. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and put some brows on. I feel like I need some brows. Okay, so for brows, I'm going in with my Benefit Precisely Brow Pencil, and I'm gonna be going in with the Kosas Air Brow. And I'm just going to sketch in my brows. I like to draw the lines like hair-like strokes a little up here at the bulk of the brow. Look like they give a little more volume to the brow. I love this pencil. This one and the Revie Beauty brow pencils have kind of been my go-to lately. And this one I wear the shade 3.5. So we are getting back into the routine. School for my kids starts tomorrow. And as always, every summer I go through this, but I have like mixed feelings about it. Like we all need to get back in our routine. My kids definitely need to have more structure and routine. My summer schedule does slightly change. Even though I'm still working in the summer, I'm definitely more relaxed. You know, I'm not getting up and having to get kids ready for school or breakfast made. So the temptation to skip my workout is definitely real during the summer. And I catch myself skipping workouts and just sleeping in a lot, which, you know, whatever, it's fine. But I do work and thrive best when I have a good solid routine. So I'm looking forward to that. But I am not necessarily looking forward to like how busy things get, you know. Kids are in a lot of activities after school. So it's just a lot of like driving around and different, you know, like just looking at the week logistically and figuring out, okay, who's driving this one here, who's driving this one here, who's picking up. It's just a lot of moving parts. So, but I also remind myself that one day my kids will be out of the house and I'll look back on these days and miss them so much, even in the chaos and the busy times. I have friends whose kids are going off to college this year, and I really like just want to give them a big hug. I can't imagine. If you had kids that have gone off to college, drop a comment with some advice or words of wisdom for mamas that are just going through it now. I'm not there yet. I still have a good like 5 years before my first one is off in college, but just the thought of it alone will make me cry. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh, don't leave me. But of course you want them to, right? You want them to spread their wings. You want them to go off and start the next chapter. But selfishly, I'm going to be like, just stay home and live with me forever. Okay, I'm going to go in and fluff the brow. We're using the Air Brow, and I love this color. This is the shade Honey Blonde. I also use this in the shade Taupe, but Honey Blonde is my favorite shade. It's just like, I'll buy Taupe if Honey Blonde is out of stock. And I've really been into like combing my brows up with this, like fluffing them up and combing them up. If you can zoom in and get in close, you can actually see like the hairs are a little wild looking. They're not perfectly, you know, placed to the side. They're a little fluffed. Not like laminate brows, but kind of like laminate brows. A softer laminate look. I've started drinking these protein shakes. This is from the brand Core Power. This is the Elite Chocolate, 42 grams of protein. It's only like 230 calories. So I'm not a big breakfast person in the morning on weekdays. Like usually I'm just not really hungry, but I do want to get some protein in. I don't want to go too long throughout the day with like not eating anything. So I'll drink these on my way to work. Usually I leave my house around 9:30 or so. So it's kind of a late morning, and I love these. And they'll hold me over for lunch till lunchtime. So they're really good if you're looking for a good protein supplement. I'm going to use this, you guys. We haven't used this in a while. The Pat McGrath Sublime Powder for setting underneath the eyes. I used this recently in a video. It was actually the video that I talked about the Align Plus concealer. I pulled both of these two kind of out of the archives and just fell in love with both of them again. This powder is specifically designed for underneath the eyes. It's very soft. It just like softly sets, softly blurs. I'm using the N17 brush, the darker fibers, to pick this up. And I'm just going to gently tap underneath the eye. You can use this all over the face too. It doesn't have to just be used under the eye. So then I'm just going to softly just set the center of the face and the forehead a little bit. I'm not going to use a lot of powder today. That L'Oreal is really good. It gives a matte finish. I don't feel like I need to powder or set that foundation too much. Okay, let's go and warm the face up and add some bronzer. This has been my go-to bronzer lately. Sad to say because it's a pretty penny, but this is the Christian Dior Forever Nude Bronzer, and this is the shade 10. I just love everything about this. I love the formula. It's very like this velvety matte finish. It's very like seamless and just blends so beautifully, applies beautifully. It's not patchy, it doesn't skip at all. I also love the color. It's this really beautiful warm color without being too orange. And I love the scent of this. It has a strong scent. So if you're someone that doesn't like fragrance in your makeup or your skincare, then you're not gonna like this one because it is pretty strong. But look at that, and that's so pretty. To me, it has the look of a cream product. Cream products just blend out so beautifully and seamlessly, and that's what this powder does for me. It's so nice. And I'm gonna sweep a little bit into the hairline. This is the BK Beauty 107 brush, by the way. This is a good brush when you want to apply bronzer and you want to be able to like really kind of pack on the bronzer and pick up a lot and apply a lot really easily. If you want to apply your bronzer very sheerly or like all over the face, you want to use something a little more loose, like the 103 would be a great option. The 103 is basically the same shape as the 107, but it's a lot larger and fluffier and looser. So it's going to pick up less product and apply less product. So it's going to give it more of a sheer kind of veil. All right, and then I am going to take a little bit on the side of my nose. And I'm doing this not necessarily to contour the nose, but just to tie all the bronzer in. So we don't just have like bronzer. You know, you really want to tie it all in so it just looks more natural. You can even sweep a little bit on the jawline, just a little bit, whatever's left over. I'm not a big fan of applying a lot of makeup below here. I know some people like to bring their foundation down to their neck and they like to do all those things. And I mean, it's going that extra step, and it's not about how it looks, because it's not that I think it looks bad, but I just worry that that's going to get all over my clothes. Like I can't do it. So, okay, now that we have the bronzer, look at that. It's so pretty. Oh, I love the way the skin looks right now. It's just very flawless, but light. It doesn't feel like I have a lot of product on the skin. It doesn't look like I have a lot of product on the skin. I have a lot of brightness underneath the eyes. Let's go in and blush up the cheeks. If I have not sold you on this blush yet, I mean, it's one you will not regret. I promise you. It is such a beautiful, beautiful blush. The color, the formula, I love it. It is my favorite blush of the moment. And that's a pretty big title to own because I love blush and I've got some favorites, but this has been my favorite of the moment. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Unreal Blush Healthy Glow Stick, and this is the shade Peachy Glow. It's just so good, you guys. It's a beautiful creamy formula, buttery, blendable, all the things that you could hope for in a cream blush. But this color in particular, I love. I usually lean towards like peachy pinks, like pinks that have a little peach, but this is straight up peach. And I just think that this looks so like youthful and it just lights up the face and I love it. I'm using the BK Beauty 112 brush and I recommend this brush for this product because this is pretty pigmented. This is a pretty pigmented product and I don't like to use something too dense when I apply a blush that's really pigmented because it's very easy to over apply the product. Now I will say even if you over apply this one, you can blend it out and fix it. Nothing's permanent, nothing's ruined, but this just makes it really easy. And I'm just using the whole surface of the brush. Do you see the whole surface? And I'm just laying that flat against the face and tapping. Okay, I'm just tapping that in. I mean, look at how pretty that is. Is that just not just, oh, I love it, it's so pretty. It really lights up the face, gives a little bit of glow, but the glow is very subtle. It's not a glow from like shimmer or pearls in the product. It's more just from that creamy consistency. When the light hits it, it just, oh, it's just beautiful. So pretty. I keep telling myself I need to go buy the other colors in this formula. But for me, I think, I mean, the formula is a 10 out of 10 for sure, but I have 10 out of 10 other blush formulas. For me, it's this color. This is the color that I love. I'm trying to be a little more mindful about my spending lately. Yeah, I'm just trying not to be so impulsive with spending, especially when it comes to makeup. It's so easy for me to justify like, oh, this is what I do for work. I have to buy all the things, but do I really? I don't think I really need to do that. I think there was a time and place in the beauty community where it was like the content was all about fresh new products, new releases, new launches. I've never really been like that. Like my channel's never been, you know, the channel that always talks about the brand new thing the moment it is released. I've always been a little more selective. But tell me, you guys, do you like content where you want to see the newest thing because you're interested in purchasing it? Or you just want to see educational content where you learn something? Or do you just want to feel like you're hanging out with a friend when you're watching videos? Like, I would love to know what do you watch my videos for? I guess that's a good question. Like, what do you watch my videos for? And then what do you wish you'd see more from my videos? videos. I would love that feedback. But anyway, going back to like not being so impulsive with my purchases and just being more mindful as we're getting ready to move. You know, we're moving in a few months and I'm kind of starting to not really pack up my house, but starting to kind of think about my closet and getting rid of things. And I just realized I have so much stuff that I don't need, I never needed. I want to consume less. It's difficult in the job that I do, right? Because I'm talking about products and I do want to be able to talk about new things and all of that. But I also think like, how much of it do you guys really care about? You know, like how much of it do you really care about? And am I just buying things that I don't need? Okay, let's go ahead and start with the eyes. So for the eyes, I'm gonna use this Makeup by Mario Master Mattes Longwear Cream Eyeshadow, and this is the shade Sandstone. I love this product and I love this color. This is a matte liquid eyeshadow. Is it a liquid or a cream? They're calling it a cream. I guess it is a cream. It's pretty thick, but it's in this applicator, which made me kind of think about liquid. Super long wearing, very sweat proof, very oil proof. If you have oily lids, this will be your best friend. You can use this as a primer for shadow if you want, or you can just use this as a shadow. And honestly, you guys, most days, if I'm not filming content, my makeup is very simple. It'll just be this on my eyes with a little bronzer in the crease, eyeliner, boom, that is it. When I'm filming YouTube videos, I do kind of go out a little bit more, put a little more makeup on. I want to show you guys fun looks that you can maybe do at home. For general days, I'll just wear this. I'll pop a little bronzer in the crease, a little mascara and the eyeliner, and we're done, and that is it. Today I am going to use it as an eyeshadow primer, so I'm going to put shadow on top of this. I'm going to do my go-to look. I talked about this look in my favorites video, and I'm actually going to show you because I love this look, and I've been wearing it on repeat. Every time I wear it, I feel like I have a good makeup day. I always get compliments on my makeup, so something about it works. This is the Kevyn Aucoin palette. This is the contour eyeshadow palette, and this is the light. They have it in different, like light, medium, dark. This is the light one. Another little product that I pulled out of the archives recently and fell in love with again. I bought this, maybe 2 years ago. And again, I used it and then I put it away in a drawer and then it didn't see the light of day again until earlier this month. And it's so good. And now I can't stop using it. So everything I'm gonna do on my eyes is gonna come from this palette. So we're gonna go in first with the N13 Nikki Rose BK Beauty brush. And I'm gonna take this lightest shade right here. And we're just gonna sweep this underneath the brow, just to softly highlight underneath the brow. I don't want it to be too stark white, but I do want a little bit of brightness underneath there. This is just gonna gently lift the brow and lift the eye. Perfect. Okay, then we're going to go in and we're going to create a little definition in the crease. So I'm going with this shade right here, this middle mid-tone matte shade, same brush, and we're going to create a crease here, just using our natural crease. Whenever you are doing crease and you want to kind of lift the eye, think about how you're applying the product. So if you notice, first I started off like this, right? But then I'm shifting and I'm looking directly into the mirror. So that's what you want to do. You want to look directly into the mirror, because what you want to do is you want to apply that product, that shadow in the crease, but then you really want to have it diffuse above the crease to lift the eye. If you work right there and get it right in the crease, but then you open your eye and the color is gone, it's really not doing anything for you. So the goal is to use the crease as the placement, but then diffuse it upward and a little higher. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm looking directly into the mirror so I can see when I'm talking to someone or looking at someone, this is what they will see. They will see this placement. Oh, look at that. Love that. Okay, let's go in. The shadow formulas are so high quality. Really, really nice. Kevyn Aucoin is a brand that, I don't know, I don't see it talked about too much. Do you guys see it on social media much? I really don't. But it's such an exceptional brand. Very high quality products. There are so many brands out there that just don't get the social media attention that they deserve. Now I'm just kind of balancing both eyes and making sure that we look even. Wonderful. Okay, now we have a good shape to the eye. Now we're going to go in and add the little, we should call this jewelry. So we've got kind of our basics down. We've got our foundation right now. We're going to go in and add our accessory, which is this really beautiful bronze shade right here. So I'm going to go in with the BK Beauty 203 and we're going to pick this up and pack it onto the lid. And I'm going to pack it all over from the inner corner to the crease. There we go. So we have a nice even layer of this color. This color is so beautiful. It's just the most beautiful, soft bronze shade. It's not too coppery. It's not too dark. It's just so flattering. I love this color. It's so beautiful. Oh, so good. Okay, now I'm just going to take a little brush and run it underneath the eyes to remove any fallout or excess. Perfect. Okay. For liner, I'm going in with the Pat McGrath eyeliner, and this is the shade Blitz Brown. It's just like a nice chocolatey bronze shade. There's a little shimmer to it. It's rich enough to give definition, but it's not as harsh as black. And I like to line the outer half of my eye to really open the eye up. Eyeliner can really make or break the look. I think a lot of common mistakes that we make is going too thick with the eyeliner, too dark with the eyeliner, and just the wrong eyeliner placement. When you go all around the eye, it can really close the eye off, especially if that line is very thick. Now I'm gonna go in with the N12 brush, and I'm taking the darkest shade from the palette right here. And I'm doing this before I go and line the other side because this eyeliner is creamy and it will give me time to move it and smudge it, but once it dries, it's gonna stay in place and it's gonna really set. So I wanna do this step before it has time to dry. Perfect. And I'm just taking this N12 brush with a shadow on it, really just kind of working it into that liner and pressing it in. That is gonna do a couple of things. One, it just softens the look of the eyeliner a little bit, but two, it also sets the eyeliner with a little powder. So think of like setting your liquid foundation with powder. You're essentially doing the same thing. You're setting your cream eyeliner with a powder shadow. I just like I said, a little definition on the outer half of the upper lash line. You can't really mess this up. If you feel like you made a mistake or you made it a little too thick or spread out a little too much, just continue to kind of work it in. You can also take the eyeshadow that you used on your lid and go on top of it if you want to soften it a little bit. There are always things you can do to correct any makeup mistakes. That's what I love about makeup. You can experiment with it, try different things. I'm gonna wait on putting anything on the lower lashes. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do any liner yet or any shadow, if we're just gonna stick with mascara there we're gonna see. We haven't made the decision on that. Okay, let's go in with mascara. The Prada Scope Mascara. This is such a great mascara if you like a lot of volume and you like a lot of rich volume at the base of the lash. I am gonna take my BK Beauty lash curler and we're gonna curl the lashes a little bit. Kind of give them a little bit of a lift. And other fun news, you guys, well, it's not really fun. It's fun and not fun. Our brush soap was a huge hit. I did not expect that launch to be like a big one. We sold out of it. We sold out of it during our anniversary sale. Like I was not expecting to sell out of it, out of the large size. So we do still have the smaller travel sizes available, but these are actually selling pretty quickly too, especially now that the large one is sold out. So if you got a brush soap, congratulations, because they're unfortunately gonna be out of stock for a while. We probably aren't gonna be restocked with those until January, you guys. They're made in Italy and it just takes a lot longer to manufacture over there and get it here to us. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for really supporting that launch. It was a big surprise to all of us, honestly. Okay, then I'm going to really build this lash up. I'm going to start at the base and wiggle the wand back and forth. Try and deposit most of the product that I can onto the lashes. But you guys, this is the first time I'm actually saying this on YouTube. I mentioned this on a TikTok live the other day, but we have another huge launch before the end of the year. And I'm so excited about this one. And I know you guys are going to be so excited when you see what it is. I cannot wait, cannot wait, cannot wait, cannot wait. It's gonna be launching, let's just say the beginning of the last quarter, the beginning of fourth quarter. So October, early October is our goal for this launch. And I think it's gonna be a huge shock. I think it's honestly gonna be a huge shock in some ways, but then once you like get over that shock, you're gonna be like, okay, this makes sense, you know? Okay, I gotta stop talking about her. I'm gonna give it away. I'm so bad with secrets. This mascara, like I said, lots of volume, very dramatic. It can get a little clumpy if you overdo it. So you kind of reach a point where you realize like, okay, it's time for me to step away from this mascara wand. My lashes lately have been so short and thin. I really need to get back on the Revitalash wagon. When I am consistent with that Revitalash serum, I have the best lashes. Then I get comfortable and I'm like, oh, I don't need to use this every day. And then, you know, I get out of the habit of using it and then my lashes just are not the same. There's just so many things, aren't there? So many things, so much upkeep. Some days I have like dreams of moving to a little beach town, walking around barefoot and wearing nothing but sunscreen all day. Do you guys have those fantasies? Like obviously I love the glam, I love the makeup, I love all of that, but there is like this part of me that is like just wants to, you know, move away, live on a little island and, you know, just like be barefoot and, you know, be out in the sun and not have all this stuff and not do all these things. I also know myself and I know after a couple weeks I would get a little antsy and want to get back to my normal life. We did that a couple years ago. We went to Costa Rica and spent 3 weeks there. And at that time, you guys, I'm not kidding. Like there was a huge part of me that fantasized about like moving to Costa Rica and just living this totally different life there with my kids, you know, and Paul and just, you know, letting go of all this stuff. You know, there was a little part of me. So we decided, let's go to Costa Rica. Let's spend a month there. We didn't spend a month. We spent about 3 weeks. And after a week and a half, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get back home. I have to get back. Because the truth is I'm not ready for that yet. I love routine. I love structure. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the lower lash line clean. We're just gonna put a little mascara, I think. Let's let this mascara dry and see if I wanna go add a tiny bit of shadow. Okay, now that I have eye makeup on, I'm looking at the cheeks. They look good, but I want a tiny bit more blush. So we're gonna add a little bit more blush to this. Taking the same blush, same brush, and we're just gonna add a tiny bit more. I always find myself doing this after I have eye makeup on and I see that the look can support a little bit more blush. Well, we are gonna do just that. We're gonna add a little bit more blush. Perfect. Oh, so good. Just look at this color. I cannot get over it. I'm telling you guys, if you've been on the fence about this blush, I do not think you would regret it. I think you will love it. It is so, so nice. Just fantastic. Love, love, love. So for lips, I'm gonna go first and powder the lips. I'm gonna powder all around and on top. This sounds like it would make the lips really dry, but it actually doesn't. And I've done this with so many different powders. I took this tip from Nikki, and when I do this, it really makes my lipstick last all day. I mean, well, maybe not all day, depending on the formulas I'm using, but for example, usually my lipstick is worn off by the time I'm drinking or eating my lunch. I will eat lunch, I will drink throughout the day, and 6, 7, 8 hours later, I still have product on my lip. I don't need a touch up, and it's all by using a powder on the lips first. Okay, so then we're gonna go in and line the lips. I'm using this dual-ended lip liner from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Contour Duo Fill, and it's the fair shade. I'm gonna go in first with this darker shade, and I'm just gonna line the lips. Perfect. I'll kind of slightly overline. And then I'm gonna go in with a lighter shade, and we're gonna slightly fill in. Perfect. Okay, then we're gonna go in and add lipstick. I'm gonna be using the Makeup by Mario lipstick in the shade Midtown. And I'm just gonna do the bottom lip and blot the two lips together. Perfect. Okay, and now we're gonna add a little gloss. We're gonna do this one from Bobbi Brown. This is their Plump Lip Serum, and this is the shade Bare Peach. It looks really coral, but these are very transparent. This is just gonna add a little bit of peach warmth to it, which is gonna tie into the blush. Ah, yes, this is what we needed. That lipstick Midtown is a pretty pale, muted, kind of beigey pink. So this just adds a little more life. Oh, this looks so good. I love this. This is it. This is final. I don't feel the need to put anything else on the lower lash line. I thought maybe we could go with, but I'm kind of loving this. It's a little glam, but it's also very clean and polished on the lower, so it kind of balances everything out. Doesn't look like too much, doesn't look too heavy. I love this look. Okay, you guys, that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I'm gonna have all the products tagged in YouTube Shopping. I'll also have them listed in the description box if you wanna shop them. If you have any questions, drop them down. I'm excited to read all your comments. I know this was a bit more of a chatty get ready with me. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.